Welcome to Bedtime Confessions. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about vulnerability, about how vulnerability does not have to make you feel weak or make you feel seen as weak. Because I think a lot of the time, vulnerability is seen as something that we just shouldn't do because it exposes our flaws, our troubles, our weaknesses, and therefore other people are going to exploit it. And I think that's so wrong. It's a mindset that you need to remove from your life because being vulnerable is such a beautiful thing. First of all, I think that vulnerability is such a beautiful thing because it just means you're human. Feeling emotions, sadness, anger, jealousy, envy, happiness, all of those things are human emotions. So why are we trying to hide them? I just don't understand why feeling something should make you seem as weak. I just think it's beautiful to see someone care so much about something that they show an emotion. Because like any emotion is because you care about something. If you're angry, it's because you care that there was an injustice. If you're sad, it's because you care about something that happened and that I don't know, that's like not there anymore. Like something that made you feel sad. If you're happy, that means you cared about something. Like everything, every emotion means that you care. And that just means that you have a heart and you have your brain that works very well and that can make you feel all those mixed and complex emotions. So instead of thinking that vulnerability is seen as weakness, no, vulnerability makes you feel human and seen as human, and it just makes you beautiful because you're just you, raw and open. And yes, you may have your guard down when you're being vulnerable, but that allows people to connect with you, on a deeper level. Especially if you share some of those emotions or feelings with other people, then they feel more connected. And so I guess that takes me to my second point. If you want to feel more connected to other people, then start opening up. Because opening up is how we get to know each other. If I were to be someone very stoic and I would very rarely share what I'm feeling, so my opinions, my thoughts, my feelings, then it would just feel like you're talking to a robot, right? Like if I can't share that I'm sad that I didn't get the job that I wanted, or that I wish something went differently, or that I regret not telling someone something that I really wanted to tell them, then like the other person can connect with me and understand who I am, my values, my goals in life, how I function and think as a person, and that they will feel like they know me better. And they feel like because I'm being vulnerable with them, they can be vulnerable with me. And I don't know about you, but for me, when a friend comes to me and they're vulnerable with me and they share about their pains and struggles, I absolutely adore that because it makes me feel like they trust me and that I am someone that they value and they care about and that they see as someone trustworthy and someone that they're comfortable opening up to, opening up to with something that's hard to share. I think vulnerability has been put aside by society because it's something that's not useful in corporate, in the business world, in negotiations. I feel like there's not a place for emotions because they're not useful to make money, to profit off of, or just because I don't know, there's just no place for emotions in this world that we live in, and I think that's wrong. Because if we saw people's emotions, we would understand what they're going through, and we would be more empathetic and compassionate with each other, and we would be able to understand each other better and communicate better and attend to each other's needs better. Because if you know someone's intention behind why they're behaving a certain way, then it allows you to make a better decision on how to respond to them. I think this is a big point. Like, vulnerability allows you to really create a wider context for someone's behavior. For example, let's say your friend is going through a tough time, but you have absolutely no idea. And they're still presenting themselves on social media or in social situations as the bubbly person that they are. So then they start acting a little more distant, and they don't act as they were acting like a few weeks ago. And so like you're kind of like annoyed and like creating resentment towards that, right? And then at some point you're just so angry or annoyed that you decide to bring it up to them. And so you ask them like, hey, like, what's going on? Like I've barely seen you for the past few weeks. Like, what's up? And then they actually tell you that they've been going through so much, like emotionally, and that they just didn't have the capacity to be open to someone else. And then in those moments, then like all your anger and fear just disappear, because you're like, wow, I didn't know you were going through that. Like, now I understand why you didn't reach out as much. So I think vulnerability helps you really connect with people's motivations and deeper reasons behind their behavior. And so it gives you that context for other people's behaviors. There's just so much more to someone's story than you might think. And being vulnerable and allowing someone to be vulnerable is how you're going to get that story. And let me tell you that people's story is just the best part of life. Like, understanding who people are and what they're living for and what they're working towards and what experiences they've been through is just, it's just the best, honestly. It's just the best part about connecting with someone else. And you know what's important too in terms of vulnerability is creating a space or being a person that welcomes the vulnerability. You need to be able to listen and not make it by yourself. Not trying to come up with an answer. It's just listening to people venting their problems. Because if you can do that for them, let me tell you, they will extend that same offer to you. And having people around you to be vulnerable with is one of the best gifts in life. Because when life is tough and you need to vent it out and you need to just scream about your problems to someone, then you have your people. So I think that being vulnerable is one of the hardest things to do, because you're literally opening yourself up to someone else. You don't know how they're going to react to your thoughts, opinions, feelings, but you're allowing them to see a part of yourself that you usually keep hidden. And that's hard to do. Not a lot of people do it. And it's such a beautiful quality to be able to open up to people, because it's so rare nowadays. So if you've been thinking about opening up to someone, but you're kind of on the fence about it because you're like, oh, I don't know if they're gonna like appreciate it, or I don't know if they're gonna find it weird, or like is it me love bombing, or like is it me being just too needy or too emotional or too sensitive? No. Because I think this world is not emotional enough or not sensitive enough. I think we need to start being emotional. Because why would we want a world that has no emotion? Like, that's just boring. Do you remember the moments when you would laugh out loud with your siblings, with your friends? Those are the best moments. Or when, like, even in the sad moments when you're crying your eyes out, or like you're hitting rock bottom and you're crying in your room. Yes, it's painful. in the moment. But don't you feel like it's just like it's just it's just a beautiful moment to remember that you were at that point in your life and then you came out of it. Or when you feel jealousy, it means that you really care about your partner. Or you really care about the things that you're jealous about. I think like emotions are just something I think that emotions are just so underrated nowadays. Like, why are we trying so hard to hide our feelings? Why can't we scream out loud that we like someone? Huh? Like, they're gonna love the fact that you like them. And you're gonna feel so much more liberated because you were able to confess those feelings. When you feel anger, instead of repressing that anger and turning it into something ugly, express that anger in within the boundaries of not hurting people and not verbally assaulting people, but let that anger out so that you can work it out with that person you're angry towards so that it doesn't turn into something sour and into resentment. Whenever you're happy, let yourself be happy and let yourself show it. It's not because you're showing your emotion that it devalues someone else's emotions or situation. Like, for example, like if one of my friends is really sad, it doesn't mean I'm not allowed to be happy. Like, yes, I'll support my friend through their sadness and through whatever they're going through, but I'm allowed to be happy about my own successes. I think vulnerability comes in all shape and form, but at the end of the day, it's about letting yourself be human and show your emotions because your emotions are human and they're there for a reason and you need to express them. There's just something about vulnerability that I truly love and admire. And I think that the more vulnerable people are with each other, the better we are as a society because the better we understand each other. So please start being vulnerable, open yourself to the people close to you or even not close to you. You can be vulnerable with anyone. And the thing is, it's okay if they don't reciprocate. It doesn't mean anything about you. It just means that they're not willing to or they're not ready to. And that's okay. Everyone goes through stuff and maybe they are reluctant because they were hurt in the past and that doesn't make it wrong. So, vulnerability, if you can, open up to people because we love when you do. We love when you do. So, I'm going to leave you at that because at this point, I don't know what I'm saying and I don't know if it makes sense. So, I wish you sweet dreams and I hope that you dream about something nice. Anyways, have a good night and then I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!